What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I am your host and captain and dad, Garrett Morlang, and joining me here in the virtual studio is the king of video games and resident superstar, Adrian Holmes.
What's going on, fellas? Another week in paradise.
Yeah. We're here. We're alive. We've made it through Monday, so...
Worst part of the week for me, but it's over.
Some of us barely.
I get to the best part now.
Yeah, there we go. We're just like a bunch of Garfields here, you know? We all just hate the Monday. I feel like we talk about it every episode. That's like how we start everything. So Monday's over.
We all love lasagna. That's how we're all...
Oh, dude. I haven't had lasagna in possibly like years. Maybe like...
Really?
I can't even remember the last time I had a lasagna.
I need it to be cheesy, though.
10 years? It's been at least like 9-10 years since I've had a lasagna. And I dream of it. No joke.
Oh.
I'll bring it up to my wife sometimes. Like, I would love lasagna. But the thing is, she's gluten-free, dairy-free. Like, she's allergic.
Babe, you know what sounds good?
She's allergic
lasagna.
to lasagna. She's allergic
You know what doesn't sound good?
Lasagna
Lasagna with no dairy, no gluten, no taste, no sauce.
I've been this close
when
I'm in the grocery store. I've been this close to getting those. Was it Marie Calendar? Or no, what's the brand?
Stouffer's.
Stouffer's, yeah,
brand,
like the one you stick in the oven for like 10
just a
minutes
little personal one.
Yeah, they're great.
This is for dad only, boys. You got to give back.
Well, you call it a personal. I call it family size, but yeah, it's still same. You know, same.
Also joining us here in the virtual studio tonight is the heavyweight podcasting champion of the world, JJ Purdom.
Gentlemen, I'm so excited about lasagna right now. Like, I don't even want to talk.
Me too, man.
Like, you're bringing back some like crazy lasagna memories, and I'm like, I'm getting flushed right now. I don't know what's going on. You got it hot under the collar.
My word, lasagna.
I'll tell you what. Like, I don't know about your guys' mamas, but my mama was a Southern lady, and so we had homemade lasagna. She'd put the pasta out and like make everything from scratch. I grew up with that. So I grew up with, somebody who sewed and who, made our clothes, like all that kind of stuff. So like that homemade lasagna stuff, like I laugh at Stouffer's, but like now that's the only thing I can ever get. That's the only thing I can ever get.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom, I grew up with her making it too. And even in our household, it was a rare thing because it's expensive. Like there's a lot of ingredients to it, and it's like not cheap stuff, like all the cheese and everything. But oh man, so good. I miss it. Maybe one day I'll have it again. So
come to us next week and we'll make sure to have lasagna talk.
I was going to say, welcome to the Lasagna Boys podcast.
That sounds like a great new podcast.
Should we start reviewing different lasagnas in the freezer section and just talking about it each and every week?
The thing about, I think they were maybe a little heavy on the ricotta. You know what I mean?
Just a hair. Could have used a little more sauce in the second layer, but we'll let it slide.
Right.
Oh, but their usage of oregano was just fantastic, though. Really brought
I
out
thought it
that
was a little heavy-handed.
You know what? My palate's not that sensitive, so I like the overspice. The overspice is good.
Okay, I love that you're playing at that right now, Garrett. But this is the same guy who one time tasted black pepper on a sandwich and he starts coughing. It's got pepper.
That's believable.
Seriously, sensitive.
All right.
Sensitive.
All right. You guys are a bunch of jerks. Boy, well, I'm glad we've made it through Monday. I'm glad we love lasagna. I'm glad we're all on the same page here. All right, but today we're going to be talking about Xbox announcing their new summer showcase alongside Bethesda. You know what? I didn't update the show notes because we changed some stuff. And also, breaking news today. Square Enix making some sales, shaking some stuff up. So we will talk about that later. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Kajunior, Bleep Bloop, and Eddie Martin, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's $1, and you can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, as well as our Super Gamer Book Club, a show hosted by our beloved Adrian Holmes here. We just recorded a new episode last week. It comes out the last Friday of each month. So new episode out now. It's What Remains of Edith Finch. As it's me and Adrian on that one. No special guest this time around. And that was a lot of fun. It's that game, very good game.
Great game.
So and like I said on that episode, if you have a chance to play it, do it, because it's like usually a pretty decent price. You know, it's good. It's cheap, and you can beat it in like 3-4 hours. So pick it up, then go listen to that episode for just $1, and fantastic. Also, if you are not a supporter of Patreon and you want to listen to our book club episodes, we do put them up for free a few months later. So our January episode just went up. Metroid Dread with Zech Keenan, rest in peace, Zech, Patrick Ellers, and Connor McCabe. That was also a very good one where some people don't think Metroid Dread is a good game, apparently.
Some people are objectively wrong.
Some people are just incorrect in their opinions. But you know what? It's fine. That's all right. We still love him. Rest in peace, Zech. You know, you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, you know. Isn't that?
Hey.
He's gonna come
a lot of people that died.
He's gonna
I'm wrong too.
I was eating with this guy not that frequently. It was like once a month we're getting together. So I look forward to hopefully getting together with him in the next few days, because I know he's got to be coming to town. We talked about doing it in May. And as far as I remember, Zech, I'm pretty sure you said you're going to buy. So yeah, we'll see you there. That's how I remember it.
Also, we are going to be announcing our upcoming game, so you guys can play along and listen with us. Now, Adrian, do you want to reveal next month's game? Or I guess this month. It's May now.
Yeah, we can do it. This month's game, I don't want to hear anybody complain about it, because I know you have access to it in some shape, way, form, or fashion. Yes. You have it somewhere. You have access to it. This game for this month is going to be one of the greatest games ever made, and that is Super Mario World. That's the book club for this month, and we're going to be talking about it on the last week of this month. You got plenty of time. Super Mario World is not that long. It's only that long if you're bad, but
unless you're bad at games.
that's up for a matter of opinion, really, because some of us.
I've been playing it for like 24 years and still haven't beaten it, so there's that.
It's time to put up or shut up now. You got a deadline.
Oh shoot! All right. All comes down to the month of May 2022. This day will go down in history. Garrett finally beat Super Mario World. But yeah, so play along with us, play that game, and then you can support us on Patreon and listen to the episode live as it come out. Then you don't have to wait. Then you don't have to be, a later loser. You know, that's what they call it. That's what JJ came up with that name.
I remember. Yeah, I coined that.
Later losers, which I thought was kind of harsh, but JJ swore was actually, he toned it down. So
yeah,
sorry.
You have no idea what it was originally going to be called. There was a lot of curse words and some foul language. So I dialed
we
that
took
back.
a few more passes at it, and we figured something out.
Yep.
All right, we'll talk more about our Patreon later on the show. First, before we get into the meat and potatoes, let's give a quick shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. We appreciate you very much. Without it, it would just be our voices, and now it's our voices with some epic soundtrack to it. So thank you so much for allowing us to use that. You can find links to their Spotify list, the Spotify listings down in the description below. They're also on Apple Music as well. Give them a search, find them, listen to them. It's good stuff.
Also, I did Google. Jack is not related to the people who make the sauce. I just wanted you to know that. I was able to suss that out.
Got it.
Yeah. No
Duly
relation.
noted.
I feel totally bad, but Jack, we still do love the sauce. I don't know if that's apropos to nothing. I just want you to know it's good stuff.
And as I said last week, if you do start making your own sauce, I will endorse it 100%.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Without
just want to throw that out there. I know I said it last week, but just again, it's unfortunate you're not related to the sriracha sauce, but we're still here. We're here for you. We'll endorse that.
Maybe they'll get a sponsorship, and then we can get, I don't know, a product drop. Who knows? We'll see.
Dude, if I was him growing up with that name, I'd be like kissing girls in high school. I'd be like, you want some sriracha sauce, babe? I mean, I would like, dude, I'd be like, The worst. You know what I mean? Like, you like that hot sauce?
Careful, these kisses are kind of spicy.
Oh no!
Why did I not get a cool name?
Because you wouldn't know what to do with it.
No,
You would abuse it. That's why you didn't get it.
Oh, I would have beat it to death. Yeah.
Oh man! All right.
Look over there. That's Jack Sriracha.
You dang right it is.
All right. I think it's time to check the mail.
All right, Garrett. I'm gonna need you to. This is for editor Garrett. He's gonna be mad about it. Sorry.
Oh, you kidding me?
I'm gonna need you. You already have these files saved away. Hush. I know you do. I'm gonna need you to put some codex sound effects in here. Right? Ready? Whee! Blah, 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 blah. Pick it up.
Hello, Colonel.
I'm calling you. Why would I be the colonel?
This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Hello. Is this the IRS?
No, it's me, Snake. I saw a Hind D fly over your house, and it dropped off a package. It looked like it had some notes from Otacon.
I already have health insurance.
I don't have an extended warranty on my...
Garrett Morlang, we've been trying to about your car's extended warranty. Sounds like you've been waiting on insurance, huh? All right, you can shut it off now. You can shut the codec off.
I think I hear the Hind D now.
There it is.
It's so loud in here.
Meryl,
Why?
he found the Hind D.
Why is this so loud? Why is this so close to my house?
Looks like you just received the documents. Snake out. There you go.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, that was simultaneously the worst thing I've ever seen and the best thing at the same time. That was like one of those car crashes you're like, you can't stop watching, or like a really bad B movie.
I had momentum going, okay? I had the momentum going.
But
Garrett stopped me cold.
Garrett killed it with the extended warranty.
He just pretend to be an old person.
No, he called me Colonel on the phone. When it's Colonel... All right, man.
Oh, man.
Colonel calls Snake all the time.
But he doesn't... If I start the call, why would I be the Colonel calling you?
Colonel calls Snake all the time.
No, Garrett. If I'm doing a Metal Gear bit, I'm always going to be Snake.
You got to keep in mind, Adrian, Garrett does not have a whole lot of improv experience. He gets very confused easily when you start to improv on him. Like, trust me, we can go back through the Rolodex of the years of this podcast. There's like many moments where Garrett looks like a deer in the headlights.
No, I
think he's called me Colonel before, like when we were doing bits before. That's not a first.
That was an improv confusion. That was just, I assume I'm always Snake in the situation.
Oh, gosh.
If you had started the bit, then yeah, you would have been Snake. But I was doing the bit.
All right. I'm sorry. I'll fix it all in post. No one will even know this.
Good.
Only the people watching live will ever see this.
I feel bad for editor Garrett right there because he's going to have to put the codec sound in there. And
yeah, that'll be fun. Thank you for that.
You want to take bets on whether he actually does any of that? Because, like, I'll tell you right now. Like,
I know he's not. I know he's not.
I'll drop some stuff in there. And, like, he never does. No,
the only reason I did it is because I know he has those sound effects saved on his computer. I know he uses them for, like, opening files and stuff on his computer. So, just saying.
Oh, well, you'll have to wait.
You won't have to go searching for them.
You will either be pleasantly surprised or just completely... not disappointed, but just like, oh yeah, that's
I'm pleasantly disappointed, Garrett.
pleasantly surprised or pleasantly disappointed. You'll see.
How many times have you heard Trudy say that she's pleasantly disappointed?
Let's move on. First question comes from Top Rate. Thank you so much again for writing in. This comes from YouTube again, YouTube comments. So remember, you can write in pretty much anywhere to send us questions. Whatever is easiest for you. Whether it be our Discord, YouTube, DM us on social media. Top Rate writes in, which game, if any, are you waiting for to come out on one platform that is already out on another? For me, it would be Mini Motorways. It is currently out on Steam and Apple Games, and I'm waiting for it to come out on Switch. So is there any games that it's out on other consoles, but you're just dying? Please come to my console so I can play it. what would it be?
You want to start?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Myself?
Yes, you. Snake. Yes.
I don't have an answer prepared for this. Like, I was kind of struggling with this. I don't know. Because I have.
You would have said Death Stranding, but it's already come out on everything, right?
Right.
Everywhere.
Like, I think you have it on your toaster.
Oh, yeah. And my microwave.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like there isn't anything for me. Like, honestly, like, I either have the console or another way to play that console. Yeah, I honestly don't think there's anything for me.
Well, in that case, my big one would be Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know what's taking them so long. I feel like whatever exclusivity deal they had should have been up. It's been over a year since both of them have come out now.
Okay.
What are we waiting for at this point?
That's what I was gonna ask. When did they come out? Do you remember?
Original Final Fantasy VII came out in 2019, I believe. And then Intergrade came out in 20, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so it's been a couple years in.
Right. So what is the holdup here? Fantasy. Let me fact check that before I look like an idiot on the internet.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I just like, because I have a PlayStation console, so I can play all the PlayStation exclusives. On my PC, I can play PC games, and like all the Xbox exclusives come to Game Pass. I can play them there. I have a Switch, so I have it. Not to sound all like, check me out, Amaza, but I have all the bases covered.
Look at you being all content.
I'm just happy over here. I'm perfectly content.
So I actually, the game that popped into my head is I've been playing my Xbox a lot lately. It's just more convenient for me with where I've got my Xbox located in my house. I was thinking I'd love to have Resident Evil 2, the remake, on my Xbox. And I know that Biohazard, Resident Evil 7, was on the Xbox on Game Pass. I'd love for that to come to Game Pass. Like that.
Okay, Game Pass. I was gonna say because it's already on Xbox.
Yeah, like you could.
Is it on Xbox? I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize, but I was thinking like, man, it'd be great if it was on Game Pass. So if that counts, then that's my vote.
2021. So even still, February 2021 is when Intergrade came out. So it's still been over a year. So for both of them, what are we doing?
Yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't be out there, right?
Right. I want to play Intergrade.
Cool. Next question here comes from, now I think I've said it different every episode, so I apologize. Maybe this person can message on Discord and tell me how to pronounce their name, but Lei Padre, Lei.
That's what I would say. Yeah. Or Lei
or Lei Padre. If you could take a gaming mechanic from your all-time favorite game and add it to improve your least favorite game of all time, what would it be and how would you incorporate it? So, this kind of goes into, I actually discussed this on the Discord. So last week, Adrian asked me a question when we were talking about our Mount Rushmore of items. He's like, really? The bandana over Octo Camo? And I misunderstood what he was talking about. I thought you meant the active, like the stealth camo from Metal Gear Solid 1. And then I realized later, listening back, I'm like, oh, you meant Octo Camo from Metal Gear Solid 4. Which is completely different. And I would 100% add that as my... And so I think if I could take the Octo Camo from Metal Gear Solid, okay, and add it into... like, I don't know, like that's hard to do because I'm trying to think. That's such a cool item. Like I think it'd be cool used in cool ways because you're not actually invisible. You just like change, like that suit itself changes color like a chameleon to blend in with whatever surroundings you're in. So my least favorite game. I might need a minute on this one because that's hard.
That's
is
fine.
a hard question.
I got you.
Yeah, I know my
I was-
item. I at least got my item. So octo camo, and I'll get.
You're
back to
halfway
you.
there.
Halfway. There.
Mine was, I was saying, I don't know how you take a Super Metroid grappling hook and put it into like a Madden or an NBA 2K, and then you guys were like, actually, that actually might work out and be pretty fun. So, you know what? Maybe we should add a grappling hook into Madden. Maybe you can use it to like catch a pass that was overthrown, or you know what I mean.
Epic.
Or do a slam dunk with a grappling hook with some. We could work something out with that. I think we could do something with that. So, you know, EA, call me.
I don't know if this actually quantifies a good answer, but when I saw this, what I was thinking of as far as like a mechanic, I hate that Days Gone, which is one of the worst games I've ever played, I had a lot of high hopes for, and because I felt like it was so unplayable, and it was all about their cutscenes to their gameplay is not seamless. It's very hatcheted and rough, and it's just disjointed. It doesn't really flow very well. I wish that you could take the mechanics from a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 that kind of did that seamlessly and integrate that into Days Gone. The premise of Days Gone, even though the zombie apocalypse and the biker thing was kind of a couple of years outdated by the time the game finally came out, it still is a good premise, and it should be better than it is. And I just feel like some of those cutscenes into the actual gameplay, a little more seamless, would make it more of a palatable game for me to play.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me is like, there's not a lot of games I actually like hate. Because that's, he did say your most favorite game with your least favorite game, but I guess if I had to pick just something that I didn't really enjoy, I would have to go with. Now this is going to be out of left field a little bit, but I'm trying to figure out a game that could also use the octo camo and I think could make it really, really cool, really fun. An Assassin's Creed game where there was a way to have like a suit that would add like kind of up the stealth mechanic. I don't know if it necessarily make the game better, but I think it'd be stinking fun. Like if you could help you be even more stealthy in certain situations and stuff like that. So I have an octo
Didn't they
camo
call that
suit.
Ghost of Tsushima?
Is that?
Sounds like he got you.
I'm just being
I
a
don't
jerk.
know. I don't think so.
I don't even know if that's accurate or not. I've never played it.
I'm
but
just stirring the pot, man.
I'm just stirring the pot, man.
No, I think because Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed 3, I never finished it because I did not enjoy it at all. But you know how like when they go back to like modern day in some of the series, like I don't know how much they did it in 3, but I know in like 1 and 2 they would do that where they'd go back to like modern day with Desmond, was that his name? If they had like some modern day, obviously it wouldn't make sense in like the past stuff, but if they did like some modern day cutscenes and gameplay, add more to the story where you had like a cool like octo camo suit, because that's what I feel like with the modern day stuff that they had in the old ones, it either was just walking around and like looking at computers or just getting like random cutscenes. I think if they added more like action sequences in the modern day with him like breaking out of whatever the corporation was he was being held in and stuff, and he got a hold of some secret technology that they were creating that was similar to like an octo camo. I don't know if it'd flesh out the story more or something like that, kind of give us a little more glimpse into that. But again, I didn't really play much past 3, so if that was something they did in the later games, then I apologize to all the Assassin's Creed fans. But that's just what I just came up with. So yeah, 3 is what turned me off. That's why I haven't really played any of the newer Assassin's Creed.
I'm gonna let you have it. I thought JJ was gonna say something, but
No, I got nothing. I hit him with the Ghost of Tsushima punch, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. And I felt like from there, he was on rope-a-dope, and I felt like that was kind of like my Muhammad Ali moment, because I kind of like stung like a butterfly, no, wait. hit like a bee. No, you know what? I knocked him out.
I got you. I get what you're saying.
Okay. All right.
I'm there.
I'm tired, gentlemen. It's been a long day, and it's Monday, and I haven't eaten lasagna. You understand? So
Ain't a lasagna.
I haven't had my my normal Monday lasagna.
All right. Let's go on to the next question. Thank you so much. Tissa PrintsAlot. He asked, what movie or story would you like to see get an animated adaptation of? I've always thought that Illumination should do The Hobbit. Illumination being the studio that does the Despicable Me and Minions franchise. He wants a little 3D Hobbit animated movie. Any stories or games or movies or anything that you would think would be cool as a little animated show or movie?
First of all, just want to say, Sir PrintsAlot, we love you to death. But, good sir, there has already been an animated version of The Hobbit. It was perfect in every way. It can never be made better. So if you've never seen it, please go look it up. It's fantastic. I think it came out in the early 80s, and I just absolutely love it tremendously. I've watched it so many times. As far as like a cartoon version of something, I would love to see The Walking Dead. And I know Telltale Games had their version of those games with the Walking Dead series, but The Walking Dead in an animated form, similar in the art style that their comic books are written, would be a lot of fun. I think that they could do a lot more stuff and delve into a lot of crazy stuff that you can't really do in live action on the screen that they do in the TV shows. So I think that would be a lot of fun. I'd like to see more of some of the ancillary characters from The Walking Dead. I know that like right now The Walking Dead is talking about going off into all these great spin-offs where Negan and Maggie are going to have a show, and Daryl is going to go have his own show and whatnot. So I'd love to see some of those things explored in animated version. And as far as who would do it, why not Telltale? I mean, they're owned by somebody bigger and better now anyway, so why not? They know that they know the stuff, so.
Yeah, you mean let them make a show?
Yeah, why not?
Who are they owned by? That's Skydance, right? Skydance does movies and like they do animated movies and stuff too, like separately. So yeah, I mean that wouldn't be unheard of. For me, I've always loved the Bourne movies. I think as like an anime kind of type thing would be super cool. Like Jason Bourne running around beating the crap out of people like an anime style. I'd be super sick. Or like Animatrix type thing or something.
Garrett, didn't we like go and watch one of those Bourne movies together at one point?
I think we watched whatever the final one was where he's like old. I think it's just called Jason Bourne. Yeah, because they had the trilogy, and then they had the fourth one came out like 10 years later.
And then they were like, oh, money.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, let's do one more where he's old. I think it was that one, yeah.
Little known fact, I fell asleep next to Garrett, and then my head landed on his shoulder, and I drooled all over him. It was fantastic.
That's happened
but
quite
he
a few
didn't move.
movies.
A true friend.
Dude, he is a true friend. He didn't like go like, ooh, to get off of me. Like, he's like, oh, the guy's sleeping. Like, what are you going to do? Dude, so I could have had my way with him, and he would have just let it happen.
What Marvel? There was like, we watched a big bombastic Marvel movie, like crazy action. And Endgame.
No,
and you
was it
or
Endgame
something.
You fell asleep during Endgame?
It was something. It was one of those big ones. Like it was like at the very end of the phase. So like all those movies are bangers, and he literally fell asleep in the movie.
It was Infinity War, actually. But
that's even worse. That set it up.
Okay, but please understand. At that time, I was running a company and was very overworked.
Running a company.
Okay. The way I remember is I did everything. Like, Garrett was the mail boy, and like I did all of the work. And no, I was working a lot. And I got into this comfortable leather chair, man. And it reclined, is rocking.
And you put the heater on.
Yeah, Garrett was rubbing my back at one point.
You had a blanket appeared out of nowhere. They gave you a little head pillow.
I think he
some
put
chamomile
something in my
tea.
Drink. Yeah, there was a foot rub at one point, as I recall. I don't know. I don't know. It was a great deal.
That was the row in front of us.
Oh, now it got weird. Now it got extremely weird.
Oh man, yeah, but it blows my mind your ability to fall asleep in a movie
I'm
theater.
notorious at movie theaters falling asleep.
I've done it. I've done it before, but the movie was usually awful, and I'm like, well, at least I can get a nap because it's dark. But
I just did that at Dune, and I was not disappointed because that movie sucked. And
That's what I heard.
It was horrible.
That's what I heard.
Oh,
Dune was
Garrett,
fantastic.
no, it was not. And you're a fool for saying that. That movie sucked.
Get
Look,
outta here.
they had an original one of those in the 80s, and it was good. That version was far too long, and it's meant to be a 2-parter or 3-parter or whatever. And it was. Man, it was ridiculously long, and there wasn't enough action. They're just walking around the desert a lot. It was like Death Stranding. Oh, that's right, you like walking simulators, so never mind.
All right, Adrian, what would you like to see animated?
I would love to see. There's a very big comic series called Saga that's been going for the past few years. I would love to see that done in an animated style, kind of like how Invincible is. But I want HBO to do it because I know that they'll give it the budget that it needs to actually see it through to its full potential and not really skimp out, because you're dealing with intergalactic travel and different alien races and planets and special effects and stuff like that even in animation are hard to pull off. But I feel like if HBO is gonna throw, what is it like $3 to $4 or $4 to $5 million at a Game of Thrones episode, I think we can get some money for an animated series, even if it's maybe 12 episodes at a time.
What is it with the Lord of the Rings show right now? What did they say? It's like, maybe I'm talking on
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, isn't it like 10
Amazon
or 20
Prime?
million?
Yeah, it's like
episode?
10 or 15, I think. That's what I heard.
Crazy.
Because they are just busting it out. That show looks fantastic. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they're really doling out the cash for that show on Amazon. They're trying to build up their
We'll see
streaming
if it's
service.
actually any good though.
Right.
Crazy.
So yeah, that's where I would be at. I think Saga would lend itself really good to an animated series.
Cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Saga and never read anything about it or seen anything, but it
ain't for kids, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Cool. This next question comes from Eddie Martin, and he asks, Mount Rushmore of puzzle style games. What are your top 4 puzzle style games? Because I know, so this is kind of obviously kind of based off of last week's question, where we kind of gave some of our recommendations on puzzle games. But now he wants our top 4.
Are we gonna I feel like we should all give Tetris a free space, because I feel like that's probably gonna be in pretty much all of ours.
I would like to propose, at least for mine, it doesn't have to be on your guys's, but I am a huge fan of the PlayStation 1, PS1 Tetris Plus. I think that's probably my favorite version of the game.
Okay. I feel like it still falls under the Tetris umbrella though. So
yeah, I mean they did some fun things with the multiplayer mode that were a little different, but yeah, you're right. It's Tetris, but if you could play Tetris Plus, try it. It's tons of fun.
Right.
For me,
you want to
go? World of Goo.
Okay.
On Wii. That game blew my mind because of the physics and everything in there. I thought it was so freaking cool. And that was one of the first games we got the Wii. So even like using the Wii remote, moving around. Portal.
Okay. Great pick.
And for my 4th one, another game, I think it's been around before, but I played it again on PlayStation, PS1, Lemmings.
Ooh, that's a throwback.
That game was fantastic. I love it because there's the difficult maps and levels you got to get through, but I love the fact that there's like different types of lemmings with the different abilities, like some that have the pickaxes, some that are building stuff, some that have bombs strapped to them, like all sorts of crazy stuff.
Man, taking me back to the computer lab at school.
Lemmings, fantastic puzzle games. That's my top 4.
All right, I'll go. So like we were saying, Tetris aside, Garrett, you probably remember this one. It's a deep cut, but I discovered this on the same Pizza Hut demo disc that Parappa was on for PS1. And it's a game called Intelligent Cube.
Yes, that is one of those games, no joke, that for the longest time I couldn't remember if I didn't know if it was real or something I dreamt up. Like it's one of those
it's
weird,
real, buddy.
Those real suppressed
I played
memories.
it on that demo disc.
Yeah, it's one of those like weird suppressed memories where like I was like, did I imagine that or was that real? And yeah, like a couple years ago I found it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to get a hold of this game.
Good luck, because it was a very low print and they are quite expensive these days.
Man.
But yeah, Intelligence Cube, if you don't know, it's basically like there's a series of blocks that are coming down a short, I guess, platform that you're on, and you have to select different spaces so that special color blocks would fall through, and that way you can make it all the way to the end of the platform so the blocks don't push you off at the end of their journey. Because you're trying to make it past the wall of blocks, and they rotate and they turn like one side every so often, and your job is to get past all of them and to make sure that all the colored squares are gone. And it gets harder and harder each level. And yeah, I remember that one on the Pizza Hut demo disc.
So good.
Yes. So that is my number one. My number two is kind of I don't know if it's a deep cut. I mean, somebody will know what this is. It was a Dreamcast original, Choo Choo Rocket. That was one where there is a line of little mice or chews, and you have to look at your puzzle board, right? And it has a bunch of directions on there. And you have to guide the mice throughout the arrows to get them to the other end of the board without hitting a wall. Of course, the line gets longer. There's obstacles that come up, and it gets faster. So that is another one that I would definitely put up there as far as puzzle games go for me. Of course, we talked about it last time. Puzzle Bobble goes up there. I friggin' love Puzzle Bobble. It's so good. I don't know why. I'm waiting for Arcade 1-Up to do one of those. Do a Puzzle Bobble cabinet.
That would be sick.
Let me get that. And then finally, my last one. This may be a deep cut, but I know somebody out there is going to go, oh, yeah, of course. On the 3DS, there were a series of games called Pushmo. It started with a game called Pushmo, where you would get a big set of blocks, I would say, basically, and they were arranged different ways every puzzle. And you would have to pull and push out different layers of the blocks to try to climb up to the top and reach the flag. So, for example, it would be like a triangle within a triangle within a triangle, right? And then you would need to pull the biggest one all the way out so that you can climb up to the next level to pull the next one out. And then you would have to push the bottom one back in so that you can pull the smallest one out.
Jeez.
And you had to keep doing that back and forth.
Because it sounds like you're playing Jenga, but you're also trying to climb the Jenga.
In a sense, yeah. But the pieces don't come out, in a sense. Like, they don't come out and stay out. You can push them back in or you can bring them back out. So they made 3 of those. They're all good. But I think Pushmo is the best of them. And yeah, that would be my 4.
That's awesome.
Sweet. So, I should pick Tetris by all means because it's one of the greatest puzzle games of all time, but I'm not going to because you guys picked that. But what I am going to pick is I'm going to pick a game that I actually like better than Tetris, Dr. Mario. So I love Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario is basically pills and a couple of different colors. It's kind of simple. But man, increasingly more and more difficult, especially as you get more and more of the germs inside of the pill bottles. And he's throwing those pills in there and you're flipping them around when you're fighting either the computer or somebody else. Man, we have had so much time as a family having a blast playing Dr. Mario. That game is unbelievably fun. I also don't want to limit myself. When you say puzzle games, there are a lot of regular games that are considered puzzle games, like the Uncharted series. There are so many great puzzles all throughout the game in many different aspects. So I would say Uncharted. I'm just going to say Uncharted. There's 4 different games of various levels, and everyone, including Lost Legacy as well. They've got so many great puzzles inside of all of these kind of games. Another one is Limbo. Limbo was so challenging.
Great pick.
And what an incredible game. Of course, it's an indie game, so you know that Adrian loves it. And in fact, Adrian, I think, is the one who told me about it. And that game is unbelievably fun. And there are some puzzles that kicked my butt, man. There's puzzles that I totally had to cheat and go and look up on YouTube. I'm going to be honest. I had to, because I'm like, there's no humanly way.
I get it.
There's no way that you could beat this. You have to have like a special power. Apparently not. You just have to have YouTube. So, and then rounding it out, Baba Is You. I've played it with my brother over at his house, and it's one of those games where the puzzles are so different, and it's such a unique game that I think about it after the fact. After playing it, it's one of those things where I'm like, man, I still want to be there playing that game right now. We had to leave and go home, but like, man, I want to play the game. So it tells me...
got the hooks in you.
Yeah, it tells me that, like, man, I don't have a Switch. I'd love to see that game on a PlayStation or on Xbox. I know it's on Steam as well, but I'd like to be able to play that game. And so, man, I think I'm just gonna have to go get a Switch. All right, it's been decided, folks. I'm gonna go get a Switch just because I gotta play that game, man. It's just one of those things. That's a puzzle game that is extremely easy in the beginning, and it increasingly gets very difficult when you're using things in the puzzle. And it's just such a unique way. I can't describe it very well, but it's a lot of fun. Baba Is You, and it's an indie game, and it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, have both of you guys played it? I think you'd have, Adrian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Garrett, have you played that game before?
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit last week, but yeah, the game broke my mind because at first it's like, oh, this is simple. Like, flag is goal, or like wall is whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, very quickly it ramps up to like, oh, okay, this is getting
now the key needs to be the wall so that Baba can be the key, and then key can be Baba, can be the wall, can be water.
It can be very confusing, and you have to think around it. And there are some that it's like, man, the simple answer is probably right there, but you're just not seeing it because you don't think in those terms. And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it really great, is that it's a challenge. It's something that's going to test those brain, whatever Garrett has, they calls it brain. It's going to test those things and like cause you to, what? All
right. I get it. No, very good game. Fantastic game. I have it on PC, but that would be such a fun game to play like on the go. Like, I don't know why I don't get it on my Switch. Like, next time it's on sale, I'll have to pick it up because that would be such a fun game to sit in bed before go to sleep, and
so you can go to bed frustrated.
Stupid
Baba Is You.
Don't touch me. I'm like all pissed off.
I just
leave me alone. I couldn't
bed.
figure out the puzzle tonight.
I love going to bed so angry that I'm just like fuming and cussing. It's like my favorite thing to do is just go to bed angry. So yeah.
Now, have you ever tried to hand a game like that off to Trudy and asked her to like play it? And then does she make it look easy? Like, okay.
No.
I know better. What are you talking about? All you got to do is make the water the key, and then you make Baba go up here, and then you do this. Duh.
You do it super simple. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, no, that's why I don't do it, because I know better. Because she'd be like, oh, boom, boom, boom. And then I'd feel like a dummy, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. And I'd take my Switch back like I'm 4. Like, yeah, I'm going to play my game over here. So, yeah, no, I know better. I don't ask her to help me with any video games. She's too smart. Let's see. I have one more question on the dock, but we're going long, so maybe we should hit these 2 news stories. We'll save it for next week.
All right.
It'll be a fun one for next week. Maybe we'll do it first so we have a little more time. All right. It's now time for the Nerdy Nudes.
It's now time for the Nerdy Nudes.
Now, how are your vocal cords, JJ? Because you didn't get to do that last week. We did not have a Nerdy Nudes segment. So
they are so much better. I was able to rest them up last week, and the old pipes are working again. Man, I've had like that chest cold. It's been going on for a couple of weeks. And I'm still, even now, got some stuff coming up. And, it's just been like, man, that kind of stuff sticking around. But
yeah, I was sick like a month ago, and I still have like this cough that will not go away. It's so annoying. Yeah, I think last week was the first episode we've never done, or we didn't do a Nerdy Nudes. We've had a Nerdy Nudes on every single episode. So,
yeah,
crazy. It took 151 episodes, 152, killed it right there. Done. Now we're back on our streak. Alrighty, guys. This news story here comes from IGN, written by George Yang. Xbox and Bethesda showcase set for June 12th. Xbox and Bethesda have announced that a summer showcase will air on June 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. This showcase will include upcoming games coming to Xbox and PC, as well as Xbox Game Pass. Currently, Xbox's most highly anticipated game with a set release date is Starfield on November 11th. We'll almost certainly see first gameplay at the showcase, if it doesn't come beforehand. And Arcane's Redfall is also scheduled to launch sometime in 2022, so a release date for it might be revealed too. While Bethesda already announced The Elder Scrolls 6 back in 2018, it might be a while until we hear anything else about it, since it was announced before Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda. We could possibly receive confirmation of Xbox and PC exclusivity. Machine Games announced last year that the studio is working on an Indiana Jones game. Some more information about it could be shown as well.
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, right?
I haven't forgotten about that. I've been thinking about that game heavily.
Yeah. One last possible reveal could be Deathloop's inclusion into Xbox Game Pass later this year when its timed exclusivity period on PlayStation 5 expires. Of course, Bethesda can also announce new games in addition to the ones already mentioned above. And then they kind of mention a bunch of things that people are working on currently that we either haven't gotten an update or release date yet. So like Ninja Theory is working on Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Undead Labs is working on State of Decay 3. The Initiative is working on a Perfect Dark reboot.
Who's doing Redfall?
It doesn't say here in this article. I can look it up real quick though. But let me see. It is by Arcane. Oh, it does say that right here. Arcane Studios work on Redfall. Fable reboot is being done by over at Playground Games.
Haven't seen hide nor hair of that one.
Absolutely nothing. Obsidian's working on Avowed. Rare's working on Everwild.
Same thing.
So, and there's also, last year they revealed that there's going to be Outer Worlds 2 and Forza Horizon 5. So there was a lot of announcements last year, and it has been zero updates for anyone.
Silent.
Like absolutely nothing. So either we're gonna get some really cool like announcements at this showcase, or at the very least, hopefully some updates. Like that's the hope. Obviously, like we all want to hear new announcements. But man, they already have a lot of new stuff that we don't know about. Like, so that's what I kind of want to ask you guys. Would you rather have like a whole showcase of just like updates on this long list of games that we've been waiting on, or do you want them to keep piling on? Like, do you want to hear a bunch of new games still? Like,
no. And I say that as somebody who I didn't necessarily buy a Series X with like a game in mind. You know what I mean? I didn't buy it for a game. I bought it because I wanted to future proof against not being able to get the new experiences for stuff when they come out. And
you hate PlayStation. That too.
What's that?
And you hate Sony.
Yeah, that's number 2 on the list. They're more like neck and neck. But I haven't. I got the console maybe like a week after it came out, and there has yet to be, even with Halo and all that other kind of stuff that's come out, there has yet to be a project that screams, this can only be possible on this system. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Oh,
It does completely. And having have an Xbox Series S as well as a PlayStation 5, there has not been one game that I've played that I'm like
this
totally
is next gen.
impossible on
Right.
PS. You know, I could have played that same stuff other than like the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. Everything else about all the gameplay is like, yeah, okay, it's prettier, but it's not screaming to me like, man, this was not possible on the last console, if that makes sense.
I mean, the SSD stuff, like, that is definitely a market improvement, but like, if you take loading times aside and maybe scale down the graphics some, most stuff, it could have ran on PS4 and then to some extent, if you dumb it down a little bit more, PS3. So, and maybe that's why I'm just so disillusioned with new games, I guess, if that makes any sense, because it feels like we're not really doing anything but taking the same thing, putting another coat of gloss on it, and then sending it back out there. I would absolutely love to be proven wrong, but I don't know. I hate to be negative or bring a negative note into anything, but that's just kind of where I'm at with this. And I just feel like I spent $500 to be given the same thing that I was getting with the old box that I had. And
you still could be getting, because all the games are still coming out on Xbox
to the
One,
to the old box, right? So what did I spend all this money for? So hopefully that question will be answered at the showcase with that huge acquisition that they got with Bethesda. But
I don't think I need to see. I don't need to see new stuff. I'd rather them go and give us updates.
Tell me where the old stuff is.
Right. Where's the stuff that you guys have already told us we're getting, and let's have follow through and finish up with some of those projects, because some of those games sound fantastic and those are winners. Why not bring those to the forefront and at least give us updates? Like, hey, this is where we're at on some of this stuff, because a couple of those studios have not said one word like at all in the last year and a half. And I'm sure some of that can be blamed on COVID, but come on, a little more insight into where we're at on some of that stuff.
I've seen people, and I think honestly this was probably would have been a good idea. I feel like I've seen people that said realistically PS5 and the Xbox Series probably could have came out like late last year and been okay. I don't know if you guys agree, but just with how sparse things are,
no, absolutely,
especially on the Microsoft side, I feel like they could have waited another year and then came out with just a fountain of titles. Even if they weren't the best titles, there's still overwhelmingly more of them than the one every 3 months that we've been getting since November 2020.
Yeah,
and that's on both sides.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's the actual like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X or Series catalog is like extremely sparse. Like we've already mentioned, there hasn't been that many exclusive games to just Series X or just PS5. Like I think on the PlayStation side, the only one I can think of is Demon Souls and the Ratchet and Clank game.
And Returnal.
Was Returnal? That wasn't on an okay. So there's been 3, but still like
everything else was on PS4.
Not that much. Yeah, everything else is, even though originally they said we believe in generations and blah blah blah.
Gran Turismo's going to be on PS4. God of War is going to be on PS4.
Yeah, they've turned around and everything has been coming out on PS4, and then even on Xbox.
How long is that going to conceivably last, though, guys? I mean, there's going to come a moment when they have to kill it, right? I mean, yeah, they're gonna keep supporting it for now, but at some point they're gonna stop making the games for PS4.
Yeah, when they can reliably get systems on shelves, that's when they'll stop supporting the old systems. But as long as it's gonna keep being difficult to get chips and to get units in the actually sit on the shelf, then they're gonna keep supporting the old things, because they can't make money off of 5 million systems versus 100 million systems.
Yeah. So, do you think it's a combination of things? So is it the fact that all the scalpers went out and used all the bots to buy up a lot of the systems that were put out there into the field, or is it more they just don't have the systems out there?
I think it's both.
Both.
I think the scalpers are definitely before the free market people come in. The resellers I think definitely contributed to the issue, but more so I think it is just the being able to secure goods and supplies, I think really put a dent in chip manufacturing and thus console manufacturing. So
yeah. Now going back to the Xbox showcase here.
Oh yeah.
if there is a game then that you want updates on instead of you're not looking for new updates, or new game announcements, we want just updates on the old stuff. Give us some release dates. What is that game for you guys? I've talked about it before. I'll share mine, that I am excited about. Redfall. It looks super cool, like the co-op type deal. It kind of reminds me of like a Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, but with vampires. That game looks epic. What's kind of one game for you guys that you're excited for?
Same thing. It's for sure Redfall. It's definitely the most interesting of the bunch. I mean, I like you said, it's pretty much Left 4 Dead, but at least it's trying to do something different, instead of just being a entire game made on the big joke basis of it's not Left 4 Dead, but it is, like another certain game that came out and died.
What about you, JJ? Any game that you're stoked for?
The only game that I'm stoked for coming out in the next little bit is I can't think of the name of it. I was gonna.
What's
Google
it about?
It's that big one. I want to say Skyfall, but that's like a
Starfield.
That's it. That's
okay.
it. And I don't know why I could not think of the name of it. I'm like, I know.
Well, they should have
game,
something because they still claim that it's coming out this year. So
November, it's set to come out November 11th. But yeah, we haven't seen anything. So
yeah.
I mean, we
if you don't have something to show
see
6 months before release, that's not a good sign.
So yeah, 100%. Like we should hopefully see some gameplay from that. That would be sick. Get an update on that. Get some gameplay. They better. I mean, yeah, you're right. 6 months out. If they don't have gameplay, that's not coming out. It's not coming out this year. Sorry, everyone. They just come out with another little image or like a 5-second teaser. It's not coming out.
When is the showcase happening? What day is it?
June 12th.
Yeah. I'd almost guarantee they're going to have something, because 6 months is a good thing to start showcasing some of that gameplay and something, because right now they don't have anything. There's just a teaser, right?
Yeah, it was that one teaser that they showed, and then that was about it.
Just like a couple promo images, basically. So, yeah, hopefully we hear something. I know a lot of people are excited about Elder Scrolls 6, but I don't think we hear anything about it. Like
Absolutely not. That is a 2026 game.
Yeah, that game is never coming out. They're still reselling Skyrim. They're still repackaging that as the Ultra HD Director's Cut edition. Like
we added realistic water to it now.
They're doing what Hideo Kojima's doing over there with Death Stranding. Okay, like we know what's going on.
I put a cardboard box in it. Woo, definitive edition.
Oh man. Cool. Yeah, well, I'm stoked. I'm sure we're going to have some sort of coverage as long as we're both available that day. It's a Sunday, I believe.
Just give me something.
We'll
give me something to play.
We'll
probably 2 years.
We'll probably
we're
upload
both, because you're like,
reactions.
Hey, it's going to be Adrian and I, because JJ's a lame ass and for sure isn't going to be available or want to do anything.
JJ,
I love how you did that.
Here's the deal. You just don't love this podcast like me and Adrian love it. This is
our
baby. Is our baby.
No.
Even though you've been here since the beginning.
I love this podcast, and
you would throw this baby in a trash can. That's how
I would
despicable
throw
you
you in the trash can, Garrett. There's a big, huge difference. I love Adrian to death. I think he's the sweetest man on earth. He's just too pretty to be on any other show but the Super Gamer Boys. But you, Sir Garrett, you are the trash. You're the thing that's the excess weight on this show. You're like the tubby ass that we've got to try to like tone up. You know what I mean?
Are we just airing it all out here? Is this what's going on? Super Grievance Boys right now.
I mean, it's that and Super Lasagna Boys. That's, yeah.
He's just airing it out over a plate of lasagna. Garrett, I can't stand you. You're weighing the show down.
All right, then you guys, let's go ahead and pull it off next week.
No,
I didn't say nothing.
Who would talk about Hideo Kojima? Like, nobody. We have to have you here, Garrett.
All right. I'll come back just for that, though. All right, this last news story. We're just doing 2 this week. Embracer Group enters agreement to acquire Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal for $300 million. This comes from Adam Bankers over at IGN. The Embracer Group has entered into an agreement to acquire those studios I just mentioned and a catalog of IPs, including Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and more than 50 back catalog games from Square Enix Holdings for $300 million. Embracer shared the news in a press release, saying this acquisition includes roughly 1,100 employees across the 3 studios and 8 global locations. The deal, if it goes through, is expected to close during Q2 of Embracer's financial year 2022 and 2023. We are thrilled to welcome these studios into the Embracer Group. We recognize a fantastic IP, world-class creative talent, and track record of excellence that have been demonstrated time and again over the past decades. It has been a great pleasure meeting the leadership teams and discussing future plans for how they can realize their ambitions and become a great part of Embracer, says Lars Wingfors, co-founder and group CEO of the Embracer Group. So once this deal goes through, Embracer will have more than 14,000 employees, 10,000 game developers, and 124 internal studios. It also confirmed that it has more than 230 games in development at those studios, and more than 30 are AAA games. There's a couple tidbits, but that's not the news.
Did you read the part where they're selling these off so that they could put more money into the blockchain and NFT stuff?
Square Enix is?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's really the big push behind this is so Square Enix loves to do this thing with their loved because they're not their studios anymore. They love to do this thing with their Western studios that like they'll put out Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider will sell like 3 or 4 million units and they'll go, oh, this didn't meet expectations. Or Avengers will come out. Oh, that's not a good example. Or Deus Ex will come out and it'll sell like 1.5 million. And they're like, oh, it didn't meet expectations. And everybody is asking like, what are your expectations for these games? Like, what are you expecting them to sell? Like 10 million copies? And
that's rarefied air.
Yeah, I was talking about that before we started the show. I said, there's probably less than 10 games in the last maybe 5 to 8 years that have cracked 10 that are not like online, MMOs or anything like that have cracked 10 million player or 10 million purchases. Like what was Square Enix's goal for that company? It sounds like they actually never wanted them to succeed. It seems like it was more of a big tax write-off, if anything, so that they could go, oh look, we're international, we have holdings in other places, but I guess NFTs, whatever this chairman is, he is like all about this blockchain stuff and like crypto coin and all this. And he's willing to sacrifice the whole company to do it. And I'm worried about Square Enix, man.
Yeah, that's so insane. What I am interested in, it just kind of made me, laugh a little bit because we've kind of joked about this. Like there's all these people who came out over the Xbox and Activision Blizzard deal, freaking out about the monopoly, all this crazy or whatever, like, oh, too many studios under one roof. But then like this happens and Embracer Group, I just read those numbers, 14,000 employees, 10,000 game developers, 124 studios. They own 124 studios. Like, why are people freaking out about Embracer Group over here?
Garrett,
why is this still happening?
The only reason people freaked out, and I don't care, you can put this wherever you want because it's the truth. The only people who freaked out about the Activision thing was PlayStation fanboys because Sony didn't get them. That's the honest to God truth. If Sony would have bought Activision Blizzard, you wouldn't have heard anything about a monopoly. Not even close.
That's probably pretty accurate, actually. I can't argue that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, but they're like a lot of people right now. They're trying to buy up all of these studios, and it is creating like these super conglomerates where like everything is all under one roof here and everything is all under one roof over here.
They wouldn't do that. I mean, come on, just look at our movie and television.
Oh, that's right. That's right. When
well, what about our internet service provider? Oh. Well, what about our healthcare provider? Oh, well.
Yep. No,
okay.
That's true. It's the way that everything is going. It's the way that everything is going. Disney, look at Disney buying up literally everything. And you know, there is some people who are actively working on Disney to try to break the company up because of the monopoly that they have started to create on a lot of different things.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know much about the Embracer Group. Like, I don't know what studios they already own, so I need to do more research.
Too many?
I didn't have a
Too many to list.
I didn't have a chance because this news was kind of breaking. I just heard about right before the show, so I put it in here. But I'd be curious to see the quality of their titles over the last since purchasing a lot of these studios, because that the only reason I would be worried is if they got these IPs and then everything from here on out is trash because of it. Like, that would be a bummer. But if looking at their track record, if they're like halfway decent,
you mean like THQ?
Oh, good point.
Is that have they picked up THQ?
No. I'm just saying like how THQ was like they we have all these IPs and we're gonna make all these games and they're all trash.
Adrian just dropped a bomb right now. That's what Adrian just did. Yeah, you know what the unfortunate thing is? Whenever something like this happens, and mark my words, when something like this happens and a company like this comes in and spends a crap ton of money, what's one of the first things that they do?
Layoffs.
They budget cut. Exactly.
Layoffs and mergers and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to start to cut the fat in order to try to turn it to make it profitable quicker. They get impatient, so they come in and they do huge budget cuts and layoffs and try to, streamline stuff to try to, because there's not a human factor or a human component to it. There's a monetary component to it. So they come in and they will just excise as much as they possibly can. Where can we trim the fat? Where can we make this studio here and this studio here and this studio here turn a profit faster?
Well, boys, you know what that means. We are gathered here today to mourn the loss and death of Marvel's Avengers. It took long enough.
Good riddance.
But we finally got it out of here. Thank goodness.
We did
next
it.
Time,
we did it, boys.
Next time, you should listen to everybody when they tell you to make a story-based game and leave it at that. I'm in.
It's fantastic. So I just looked up Embracer Group real quick, and they are the company that bought the THQ Nordic. So that answers that.
That's a good indicator.
Yeah, so
that was great.
So
that was kind of
perfect. THQ Nordic, they bought them, which included, THQ's a parent company, but obviously there was 30 companies within it. They also bought out Saber Interactive, which has a bunch of what's Saber done? They did all the Crisis remasters. They did all the Halo Anniversary remasters. Kingdom Come Deliverance.
So nothing crazy.
No, nothing that's anything special. So yeah, not looking good for those. So yes, very much so. Mourning the loss of, screw Avengers, but mourning the loss of all those other fantastic IPs that just got lost to THQ. Yeah. Or who knows what or where. I don't know. Sad day.
Yeah. I mean, I wish it would have gone back into something else. I wish the money that they got from that was, I really wish it would have been, okay, for Square Enix, you know what? Even if we didn't see the Western studios like that, we're going to go ahead and give them up. We're going to refocus our efforts. We're going to double down, and we're going to go back to what makes Square Enix great as far as, Japanese developed titles. And we're going to, put as much out there of our catalog or new developed games that we can, and we're just gonna push forward. But no. Hey, you want this? Oh my God, they're gonna do Keyblade NFTs. Oh boy, I didn't even.
He's
think
done.
About that.
He just take his money.
No, don't take my money. I don't.
You don't want Keyblade NFTs? Come on.
No, I don't.
Anything Keyblade, but come on.
No, there has to be a line.
There has to be a line.
There has to be a line.
And that's Adrian's line.
I'm not doing that junk.
Okay.
I'm not.
You're not gonna join me in the metaverse?
No, I will not be there, unfortunately.
I don't have anything in the metaverse, so I don't know why
On
I said
your
join
meta
me.
quest.
I don't know why I said that. As if I have property in the meta, because I don't have anything. I have nothing. I have a whole lot of JPEGs on my computer, and none of them are unfortunately on NFTs. So if anyone wants to send me an NFT,
yeah, I don't know. I hope that. I mean, you never hope for anything to fail, but I hope that they see somehow that Square sees somehow that this is just not the route to take.
Is there any way we get like a big 180 turn, and like instead of selling these, they let them go like IO Interactive with Hitman, and they're just like, hey, you know what? We changed our mind. You guys can just go off and be your own independent studios, and here's some IPs. You know?
No, I feel like they've already signed the paperwork. I think they already probably are Embracer Group Studios, but
is there any chance that Embracer Group allows that to happen, like, or at least allows the company to buy themselves out? Like, hey, we'll buy ourselves out so we can.
I mean,
because that would be, and take their IPs, because that would be, because best case scenario. Because
but if that was the case, then they would have done it once Square Enix had them up for sale. So it doesn't seem like they could afford to do it.
I mean, unless it was a surprise, like maybe like the people over at friggin' Eidos had no idea until they're like, hey. Yeah, bye. Go with your new daddy now. Like,
what?
Sorry, son. We're sending you away. Yeah, crazy. Big news. Big news.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that shakes out in the coming months. We'll see if it even happens. You know, like, everyone keeps saying, "Well, it's not final. It's not final." We'll see what happens.
Oh, it's final.
But it's probably final. All right, guys, that's it for the nerdy news this week. I can't talk anymore. Let's get into our Patreon ad. All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there. If you love the show that we make, you want us to make more shows, more content, support us over there. We have, some fun plans, some fun ideas, and we would just love your support to help make those things happen. So go over there. It's just $1 a month. You can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, such as Super Gamer Book Club. $5 a month, you get the show notes. $10, you get shout-outs. $15, you can pitch segments for the show. We got a lot of fun tiers you can support us at over there. We have a goal that when we hit, I think it was $100 a month, and we're going to start up another show for you guys. So it'll be kind of like a little more, it's probably a lot similar to like what last week's episode is. So if you want to know what the Super Later Boys or whatever our title ends up being, that would be probably a lot like last week. Go listen to last week's episode. It was a fun one. So support us over there. We'd very much appreciate it. And also remember to subscribe on Twitch. You can use your own cash. It's $5. Subscribe. You get some cool emotes that you can use around Twitch. But you can also use your free subscription. So if you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming.
Yeah!
Okay.
He did it!
My mind was racing like 3 sentences ago. I was like, I'm going to have to say this. What is it? Prime Gaming. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming for free. And if you just got to link your Twitch and your Amazon accounts, which means you get a free subscription each and every month. You got to remember to do it, though. It's manual. It doesn't just automatically go. So remember to go over to twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys and use that free sub on us. We'd very much appreciate that. All right. That is it. Let's get back to the show. Alrighty, we're back in it. Here we are. Time for What You Playin'. JJ, What have you been playing?
So I've been playing a couple things. I got back into Far-Reaching Tides, and that is really a great game. It's a seafaring thing where you are traveling along on this crazy ship. You're a little character, and you come to. It's also kind of a puzzle game because you get to areas where your boat won't go any further, and you have to run around trying to figure out how to work in the environment in order to be able to open the environment up to get you to move your boat through. It's really, really cool. It's a cool game. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And then I've been playing a little bit here and there of a lot of different games. One of them is Cluster Truck. It's just a silly, stupid game where you're jumping on the top of a truck and then you're trying to like not land. And my daughter fell in love with it. And so it's one of those things where I play it almost every day right now. And she's really into it, and it's a cool game we're playing together. There's lots of little stuff like that. And then the other game that I've been playing is Archvale. I've gotten quite a bit further in Archvale, and this is like a dungeon crawler that's really a lot of fun. And it's on Game Pass. So everything that I'm playing right now is on Game Pass. So you guys can go play any of those games and let me know what you think. They're fun.
Okay, cool. I think I played Cluster Truck one time, and it was like such a bizarre game. I'm like, I played for like 10 minutes. I'm like, I've played enough. But it's such a wacky, goofy.
I've seen
game.
what I need to see here.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same stuff over and over again, just jumping from like all these trucks that are driving and then they're smashing into something in the environment, or there's like a big car crash. You have to jump from the one that's falling onto another one and not touch the ground. And there's just something about it that is kind of cathartic while you're playing. You know, you're like, and when you do get to the goal and you go to the next level, it's like, okay, right on. And then you're like, it's just more of the same. But like, now I gotta keep jumping from truck to truck. It's just one of those silly little games. It's probably be great as like a mobile game. Mm-hmm. If you've ever played Subway Surfers, it kind of reminds me of Subway Surfers.
Wow, okay, that's a throwback.
So Subway Surfers is a really Garrett is acting like he's never played that. So Subway Surfers is actually one of the very best mobile games, and you basically are running in an environment where you're jumping up over trains that are coming up after you, and you're jumping from train to train and jumping over, grabbing coins, hitting like 1-ups and power-ups and all kinds of stuff. It's really a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've never played that. I played Temple Run.
It's
Subway
similar.
Surfers? It has that like pentatonics theme, kind of like the, you know what I mean, where it's the people who sing the beat.
Oh yeah. Okay, I see. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I know the one you're talking about, JJ.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
But Garrett, did you just say that you've played Temple Run once?
No,
like one time.
I played Temple Run before.
Oh, okay.
Not
all
just
right.
once. I'm not. Right. Yeah, I played it one time. I'm like, I'm out. This game sucks.
It's too hard.
Zero out of 10. Adrian, what have you been playing?
Over this past weekend, I played and finished Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And I would say it's a solid 7. 7 out of 10. I think that it definitely has potential. I didn't hate the time that I spent with it. It's definitely full of bugs that caused me to restart restart last checkpoint a lot of times. And definitely a lot of things in the cutscenes could have been tightened up as far as the models and how they were rigged, because it seems like they would stop in between animations and then go into the next animation rather than it being fluid. But overall, I'd say it was definitely one of the better Marvel games that have come out recently. I wouldn't mind seeing where the series would have gone.
Better than Spider-Man Miles Morales?
I said one of the better. I didn't say the best.
Okay.
I wouldn't have minded seeing where the sequel that would have gone, but unfortunately, of course, Embracer Group, it's now in their hands.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. And a little bit of the dialogue, I feel like could have taken a couple more passes, because I feel like a lot of it or a good amount of it was pretty cheesy. And I know Guardians is supposed to be cheesy, but like it's like kind of like, ooh man, that's the line, that's the read that you guys went with for that line. It's like okay. And 2 new Playdate games came out today. Pick Pack Pup, which is a match 3 puzzle game. I am enjoying the heck out of it. You just match 3. However, you can find them on the board. They turn into packages, and then you send them out. And then there is another one called Lost Your Marbles, which is kind of like a RPG or like a visual novel, where a girl who is an assistant in a lab to a scientist cat gets in a kerfuffle and ends up losing her memory. And I'm just going to keep it there because it's worth the play. But those are the 2 that came out for this week for Playdate.
That's awesome. I love on Twitter. I've been seeing some different posts, and you've been retweeting a bunch. All the games that aren't included in the season, like people are already making games and like coming out with games for the play date, and there's been some really cool ones. Like
yes, they look like they could have been part of it.
100%, like 100% legit, like big games. Like they're putting at least from the little preview, I'm like, this is like legit, like RPG and stuff like that, like all sorts of like crazy stuff. So yeah, if you get a play date, you're not just getting the games that they give you for free with it. Like there's this huge community already. Like it's only been out for a couple of weeks, and there's all these like games you can side load onto there, and you get for like $1 or even free. Like some people are giving away for free. It's crazy.
Join us.
I'm trying, Adrian. I'm trying.
Come to the light.
Mr. Playdate, if you're listening to this podcast, please send me a Playdate, please.
You got one coming.
I don't want to wait for it, dude. I don't want to wait. I need it now. Right now. So I wonder if I get mine and it's like the end of the year, do I still have to wait the whole like 12-week season thing, or do I just
as of right now you
get
do.
them all? So it's not from when the season started. It's from like whenever
it's from when you turn it on.
Crazy. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing to say that they won't, maybe revise that and give you the option if they're like, do you want to do them all now? Or, maybe they could say like, we prefer, like our preferred method is for you to get 2 a week, so you don't get all of them and get burnt out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you want all of them, you can do it now. Maybe they'll think of something like that by the end of the year. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it'd be fun to get them in like that spread out season like that. Like
it is. It's pretty cool.
Week,
it has me, outside of this, it has me looking forward to Mondays. Like this show and getting Playdate games are the saving graces of Mondays.
Heck yeah, and lasagna.
Yeah.
So I've been playing this little game on my Nintendo 3DS. Actually, my 2DS. What do I have? The new Nintendo 2DS XL.
3DS works fine. It's a 3DS in spirit.
No, I just love the Nintendo's like naming scheme. It's not just the Nintendo, it's the new Nintendo 2DS XL, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyways, first, it was on sale a couple weeks ago, or more than that. It's been like a month ago. All the Phoenix Wright games. I've never played any of them. I think I even mentioned a couple weeks ago that I was playing it, but I didn't really talk about it much. But I picked it up. I've been playing through the first one because I got the trilogy and then like the last 3. So I have all 6 games lined up and ready to go. And man, I am absolutely loving this game. It is just so different. Like I haven't really played a handheld other than Switch, which barely feels like a handheld because it plays console games. But I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like back in the day, like a Game Boy game had a certain feel to it. Like handheld games have a certain feel. I'm sure with the Playdate, there's a certain feel to it. And so like, I love how Phoenix Wright has that feel again, where it's just like, oh, this is different than just like a full on console game. Like this is a handheld game, but not in a bad way. And also just the play style, like, every game that comes out nowadays is a big bombastic action game or this huge open world or crazy guns, first person shooter, whatever. And then for me, it's been super fun and refreshing to play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, the first one, where it is, it's straight up like you're a lawyer and you basically play detective. So you're going around and like interviewing people, asking questions, checking out the crime scene, trying to get all the little pieces of puzzle that you can find. And then they throw you into a courtroom, and then you have to you're a defense attorney, and you have to defend your client that you have. Like, no, they did not. And so far they've all been murder cases. So and so did not murder this person, and you have to. A lot of times it's like presenting evidence, knowing when to present that evidence,
how it connects into the story, or how it, how this evidence makes sense here.
Yeah, and trying to spin your own story, even if it's like, I don't know if this is true, but I'm gonna go with this, and I'm gonna go down this path. Sometimes they'll give you like multiple choice like questions and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun, where it's just like you've really got to use your brain. Like, I guess like this is a fun puzzle game, honestly. Like, I don't know if it's on in my Mount Rushmore, but it's like not only you have to collect the evidence, but then when you're in court in front of the judge, in front of the other attorney, and the jury and everything, it's like, okay, how am I spinning this story to prove that the defendant here is innocent? They are not guilty. And I've been loving it. It's just such a fun change of pace for gaming for me. Kind of stepping back from the more action-oriented stuff and a little more like, oh, you got to think about this, and with like a fun, cool story as well. So yeah, check out the Phoenix Wright games. I think the HD collection, it's out on 3DS, but didn't it come out on other consoles as well? Yeah,
it's on Switch. I believe it's on PS4. Definitely on Steam. Yeah. So you got options.
So yeah, so you can play it anywhere. Check it out if you can. Like if it's on sale or something, pick it up, because it's 3 games. The Phoenix Wright,
the trilogy,
HD trilogy, or whatever they call it, and yeah, very, very fun games. If you're just looking for a slower paced, kind of a little more thought provoking, without all the having to have all the twitchy reaction, crazy multiplayer, whatever. It's a fun game. All right. Well, that is it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening to our episode. We appreciate each and every one of you for swinging by, watching the live stream over at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys on Monday nights. If you support us on Patreon, over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, you're probably listening on Monday evening or Tuesday morning. Remember, you can get episodes early and ad-free if you support us over there, so check that out. And all you guys watching on Wednesday, we appreciate you. Remember to give a review if you are listening to a podcast service that allows that. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us the thumbs up and leave a comment, because that all helps with the algorithm, helps us get found by other people, and subscribe to the channel so you know when new episodes go live. You can also support us by going to sgbstore.com, buy some merch. We got some stickers, we got mugs, we got t-shirts, some fun stuff over there, sweatshirts, whatever you're looking for. Check it out, and help support the show that way. Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate again for allowing us to use their music on the show. Remember, find them on Spotify and Apple Music. Links for Spotify are in the show description below. I would appreciate if you go check them out, because they make fantastic stuff. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
And JJ, where could they find you?
Well, you can always find me at Twitter and you can find me at Twitter and Instagram at JJ Purdom. You can also find me each and every week at the Suplex City Wrestling Podcast, where me and Scott Falder talk professional wrestling. We break down the news, the happenings, and what we do if we could take over the world of pro wrestling. So lots of fun each and every week. That comes out on Fridays. And it's also produced by the Super Gamer Boys, so I make Garrett my editing witch, where he's got to edit all of my my kerfuffles over there on that show as well.
Smart.
Yeah, check that out. The Suplex City Wrestling Podcast. Fantastic show. As I've said before, not a wrestling fan at all, and I found it really interesting. I haven't had a chance to... This is going to sound bad because I'm the editor, but I haven't listened to the most recent episode, but apparently there's a segment in there that's about me and about how you would pitch wrestling to someone who's never even watched a single match before, which was me.
There was a lot of great response from that. And so as a wrestling person, we're so used to growing up loving pro wrestling, and to have somebody who's never seen it before, it's like, okay, if you had an opportunity to have somebody like Garrett who's never watched a pro wrestling match watch one thing, what would you have them watch? So we're actually breaking it up into a series over the next several weeks. This time around, I chose one singles match, one guy versus one guy. What match would I choose? And there were so many different matches that stand out as epic. Am I going to pick something that's a spectacle? 7'5" 500-pound Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan in front of 93,000 people in the Pontiac Silverdome in '87 at WrestleMania 3? Do I pick a technical beauty of a match, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, at WrestleMania 25, when they just put on this incredible story, Heaven versus Hell, the dark man of The Undertaker versus the Christian guy who is trying to save his soul? And there's so many different options to pick, but I chose a masterpiece, and
You'll have to go to the episode and find out.
Yeah, go find out what it was that I chose if I only had that one opportunity. So,
dang, legit. Yeah, go check that show out. Fantastic. Maybe I'll add a link to it in the show description. Imagine that if I link to our other shows, huh? All right, that's all I got for this week. JJ, take us home.
All right, for Garrett Morlang, for Adrian Homeboy Holmes, and for myself, Juicy JJ Purdom. I don't even know. I'm just going to start calling myself that all the time. I'm going to start introducing myself like that to people. Like in the streets. What's up, Juicy JJ? How you doing? Or I could be like, Jack Sriracha. I make a sauce. You know, it's spicy.
That might be copyright infringement, but we can work on it.
Well,
I mean, Jack Sriracha says we can use their music on our show. He didn't say.
So technically, that means
you can use their identity.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't say we couldn't use their name, right?
That's technically how that works. For these gentlemen, for myself, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.
Lasagna time.
Yeah.
I want something so bad right now. My nipples are hard. I'm thinking about it.